Good morning to you. My name is Catherine. Thank you so much for joining us today on Life and Style. And this group here was meant to be singing, and one of them dancing, the rest of us singing, but no, everybody's shy. But let's see whether they'll accept singing maybe sometime during the show. So let me introduce everybody to you. We have Shalini Bala Lucas. Just met her the other day. We just clicked like this. We met on Facebook. I keep making a joke that I'm a Facebook influencer. No, but that's a joke. But yeah, so I know her story, love story, incredible love story, and she'll bring lots of value to this conversation. She's also a mindfulness and happiness dance trainer, teacher, coach, motivational speaker as well,
Yes.
and author.
Yes, I am.
The big one. We'll be talking about her books maybe in another show. Watch out for this girl. Then we have Dr. Amakove. I was introduced to this lady by Dr. Zippy. So doctors introducing doctors, you know how it works. And she has an incredible story. She just said to me upstairs that her heart is already calcified. It's ningumu, it's hard. So you're most welcome to the
point.
You're here to, oh, trust me, you're seated next to these two. By the time you're leaving here, Victor and Shalini will have done a number on you. Okay, you're most welcome, Doc.
Thank you.
And we have Victor Salamba. He's not a stranger to this program. We also had him last year on the 5 love languages.
Yeah.
He's always here to talk love, man. So he's our love guy. And he'll be narrating this song that we've based our conversation on, but he's a relationships coach. So if you have those issues going on in your relationship, he's the guy to see. Incredibly deep. Oh, she just raised her hand.
Yeah.
Do you want to start? Do you want to start? Do you want to start with your neighbor? Look to your right. But you're most welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be back.
So Tina Turner's song, what's love got to do with it? The last line to her chorus says, "Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken?" And I'm like, girl, what were you going through? What were you going through?
She sounds like she was going through a lot of heartache at the time.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but your love story is beautiful.
Okay, so you wanted me to tell you. Okay, so I met my husband 23 years ago in England, and I was 19, I was 21 and he was 40. So it was a huge age gap, and my family were completely against the relationship. But you know, family isn't always right, people aren't always right, and I just decided he was my soulmate, and he was. I was saying to somebody last night, actually, I saw him for the first time and I thought, I'm going to be with you for the rest of my life.
Just at sight.
Just on sight. He
My
was
God.
absolutely gorgeous.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's not just in the Daniel studio.
It happens.
Doc, that's for you.
I'm learning.
But and he was just a beautiful person inside and out. I say was, Catherine, you know my story. My husband passed away 3.5 years ago from cancer. For me, it was the most devastating thing that's ever happened to me. But I think it also taught me so much about people, myself, and love, because we're talking about love, and we're so cynical about love sometimes. And when we talk about soulmates, we're like, oh yeah, whatever. No, he was my soulmate, and absolutely was head over heels in love with him, and that love, that initial love, that is also lust. Let's not be, coy about these things.
Okay.
But that love then became very comfortable, and we got to know each other really well. And we were just a part of each other, very much in mind, body, and spirit. And I really felt that. So when he died, it was like a part of me had died. My dreams had died. My life was just completely changed. And for those of you who might not have had that love, don't give up. But the thing was, I wasn't looking when I found Jeremy. I had bought the house next door to him. I was an ambitious girl, 21, university, holding down 2 jobs. I didn't have time for love in my life. It just happened when I was least looking for it. When he passed away, sort of a couple of years after he passed away, I thought I'd do some online dating. That's another story.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Oh, trust me, it's in my pointers. Yes.
But when I was looking, it wasn't happening.
Okay, so do you see how that sounds like a fairy tale? Like man, you just opened the door, and he also happened to be opening his door at that time, and voila, sparks. Amakovi, does this happen here? You know that was in England.
I don't know, but I'm very happy that Charlene got to experience that, because there are moments or there are experiences as such, and it's a privilege to even get to know you. And I pray that you do find love again. So I don't know, do I believe in the fairy tale of love? I used to. I'm 41 now. And I got married when I was 26. And it was love and lust combined, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
But then it didn't work out eventually.
Yeah.
And that's like after 10 years or so.
Okay.
So getting out was one of the hardest things, because sometimes we need to know when love has left the room. And maybe Victor will...
You'll be taken through a counseling session live on air. Live on air, counseling session.
Yes.
Victor,
Or maybe I should just move house. The house is haunted. Yeah, but I think we need to get to a space where, because that happens also, and to accept when it's not working, that it's okay to let go.
Yeah.
So I find that in our current society right now, people are stigmatized for making that choice, or people feel, how will I face others if I say, we tried it, it didn't work. So I'm here to say that it's okay to let go. Yeah, so sometimes, and it's okay to cherish the moments that were there. So it's not that every single day was horrible, but there were very good moments. There were very, for me, there were 4 children that came out of it. I mean, I can't regret the time that I stayed in the marriage. But I think to just say, sometimes it doesn't work. I don't know whether I still believe in the one. Yeah, like there'll be someone, I have friends, I date, and
oh, you're back on the dating scene.
Oh,
hey,
I have a lot of love to give to many people. But I think, I don't know, I find there'll be guys who I'm very comfortable with chatting in terms of, I'm a sapiosexual, so for me you really have to get me in my mind.
Stimulate you intellectually,
you have to show like you have something
going
of
on
substance,
upstairs.
yes. And then there'll be those ones who are free-spirited, and for me that's also attractive. There'll be those ones who are calm, because I'm very
outgoing.
And I have a lot of energy, so sometimes I just need someone to say, you know what, it's okay.
To be quiet sometimes.
Yes. Yeah. So I, in my experience right now, I don't think I'm searching for the one, but I get to have different facets of experiences with different people.
But you're still very young, so the one is still there, right?
Let's
hear the coach. Isn't it true that the one for her could be there? I'm just being a hopeless romantic.
Yeah, I mean, that possibility is there. Yeah. You see, in 10 years of marrying this person, there's a part of you that transitions with this person.
Sure.
A part of you changes with this person, because through that process, there are things you find and there are things you lack. In fact, it's the things that you lack that became louder.
Yeah.
When now you begin to maybe get back out, or to get back out there, why you're finding those very pieces in many people is because it's that which was lacking. And so you're picking it out in different people because it's what was never there. And so in this process, actually, I'd say that you're in the process of just going back to who you were before him.
Sure.
Because you know, when something goes through your heart, it changes your life. You know, and you've changed. You're not the person who met him at 26.
No.
Yeah. So now that person who was at 26 is now trying to rediscover where I was left off. Because now there are 4 children in, your career has changed, the marriage has ended, you've gone through the stigma, the family has talked, people have gossiped about you. There's all that process. You know, you've cried, you've finished. So there's all that process that has happened there. So even you in your own seeing this person and talking and laughing and relaxing and everything, is you trying to reset. Go back to a factory settings.
Yes.
At factory settings is where he finds you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, I want to say something about divorce, because when I met Jeremy, he was divorced, and he'd been divorced a year and a half. And had he not ended what was a toxic relationship, we would not have got together.
Sure.
And he always said to me, oh, life for me started at 40 when I met you. So it's never too late. You know, we say, oh, wow, it's too late, or is there the one for us? You just don't know. I think you've got to have an open heart and an open mind, and that's when it will happen, if it's meant to happen for you.
Yeah. You see how everyone is bombarding you?
And you see the way I'm nodding and saying, for the cameras.
In your head, maybe you're just rolling your eyes and like, forget it.
If they knew.
If they knew what I left and why I do not want it back. But anyway, Charlie, what are some of the things that made your marriage work?
It was interesting what Victor was saying, that as you get older, you're growing and you're on this pathway and things change. I didn't have children, but Jeremy did from his first marriage. But as we grew, we didn't grow apart, we grew together. We became different people, but we were very much in sync with each other. I think if you're growing and you're growing apart, that's where the problems arise. We definitely grew together, we changed as people, we definitely nurtured each other. I am definitely a better version of myself because of his love. And I can say that very openly. I was extremely ruthless, very ambitious, quite very arrogant, impatient like you wouldn't believe.
She got the antidote.
She got the
I told you, they're not to do that.
In a good way, because
Yes.
he was very calm, he was very patient, and in a way I gave him a bit more fire. You know, I was like, come on, let's do something with your career, etc. So we balanced each other, and he was very content with life. I wasn't, and in fact, it was only after he passed away I began to become more content and grateful with what I had, because I had lost so much when I lost him. So yeah, I think it is about growing together. It's about fighting, definitely, and telling each other what we don't like. But then compromise is, I'm sure you will say this, it's a huge part. We compromise, but not compromise to a point where you are resentful of each other. That was really important for us. And when I was unhappy, oh boy, he knew. And when he was unhappy, it took a little bit to get out of it, the typical man. But we did. We never, I think maybe once we went to sleep angry with each other and we didn't sleep. It was horrible. So it's a cliche. Don't sleep on a fight, but it's a very good thing.
it's important.
There's something which I said which is very key. Growing together.
Yeah.
And you see, you always ask yourself, where does it go wrong? That at some point you were so together, you were so in sync, then suddenly 5 years later I look at you and wonder, was I catfished? You know, something changed, you know. But it's because marriage has got its own life cycle. And marriage is built on the cultures that you build. And the problem with us is that we are so habitual that how we handle conflict is a culture within the marriage. You know, how we eat is culture within the marriage. All those things help us grow together. Because you find that some couples don't share meals. And if you don't share meals with your partner, automatically you'll grow apart. Automatically. Or some families eat like zebras.
How?
You know, zebras eat when one is eating, the other one is watching. So,
I've not known that.
you know, but it's key from the very beginning to understand what culture do you want to build, because if at all you begin to forget the culture early, we always think that I can reset after 10 years. After 10 years, I can come back and still hold my wife. But after 10 years, I have forgotten where she's held. You know, also you can tell someone, you know, hold your wife, you see the guy holding her neck. Why is he holding her neck? Because the guy forgot, you know, because time went so far and they forgot small things. Those small cultures is what helps you, is what keeps you together, is how you grow together.
I hear you. So, Doc, when you decided it was time to leave, and I like, first of all, thank you for all sharing your personal stories, because when people see themselves when personal stories are shared. So when it was time, when you figured out that, you know what, it's done, it's over. I need to leave for the sake of whether yourself or your kids. What was that transition process like for you?
I think I'll piggyback on what Victor said in terms of growing together or growing apart. And I think when the growing apart becomes too much, so you don't recognize yourself anymore. For me, it took a friend. Funny enough, people notice these things, but they don't tell you. Because people don't want to meddle or to be seen to be meddling. And maybe they've tried it before with other people and got their fingers burnt or whatever. So it took one courageous friend to really tell me, Liz, you're not yourself anymore. You don't, as she said, we are very free-spirited, go-getters. I'd started to change subconsciously. And you know, the people who appear to be strong are the weakest. Because you have to hold it together for everyone.
Yes.
You're the life of the party, you're the one who gets things going in the office or whatever, and you don't want to spoil that image, but deep inside you're cracking. So it takes someone who's close to you to just say, to be honest with you and to tell you, you know what, maybe pause, what's going on.
Yeah.
I would also want to, so for me, when I started now getting to lose interest in things that I used to love doing, my career, my children, I started snapping at them. So I started showing signs of actually clinical depression. Then the other one is I wanted to mention in terms of men, because I've started this support group for divorcees, and we have both men and women, and we see people on both genders hurting, because a broken relationship is not easy.
Yeah.
It's a part of you that changes completely. You can't go back to what you used to be. And people process it very differently. And for men, I think it's very hard for them to bring it out. For women, we have charmers, we have friends, we have mothers, our tears flow easily. It's easier for women to start saying, you know what, I don't like how this thing is working, and maybe seek professional help and the rest. For the men, maybe this is where you'll, because you're a man and you're a relationship counselor, how do we help our men also bring out the things that they're going through?
It's first of all is to understand, of course, how men function. Because the way men are wired by nature is that men fear judgment. And at times, to a man, for example, divorce, where if the man himself is the one who walked out of his marriage, he goes on with his life. If at all, it's the wife who left him. That's paper two. Now, two things are involved here. One, his pride. Two, the fact that he has failed. And men do things to win. So even creating that platform for him, it's making him walk into an environment where he's admitting that he has lost. And to get a man to speak about what he's going through in his heart, you must make him, first of all, feel like he's not being judged. And two, that what he's saying, he's winning. Because the moment he feels like what he's saying will make him look weaker, then he'll back down. And what you said is very true. Even in marriages, you know, you'd find that because men are not so quick to speak, as she said, you know, when she was angry, the husband would know. But when the husband is angry, she'd have to look for codes and clues and actually, because the moment that he wants to say something, and he looks at your demeanor and feels as though he's not safe, quickly he backs off. Because men read safety in your tone, in your body language, in everything. Men read that quickly. When a man reads he's not safe, he presses delete. And men have a gift of changing a story in midair.
What?
A man can change a story in the middle of the story. He can begin by telling you something about his marriage. He can say, you know my wife. Then you try and look at him. What? That's what he changes. My wife is a saint. She's going to heaven. In fact, she's loved by the Lord.
Wow. Okay.
And this way, at times also men slip through the cracks because out of also pride. In my time, I've seen very few men who have come and said, you know what, my wife punched me. It takes a lot for a man to come to that place because he must feel that if he tells me that, he's winning. But if he feels like he's telling me that, then he's arming me for another battle, he'll keep quiet. He'll say, no, she just prays for me.
I find you so refreshing, Victor, because you're so honest about how men really are and you know how they behave. And I think when a woman is up against a man, often the man will back off. And I used to say, oh, Jeremy goes into his cave. He would withdraw. But when it comes to talking about divorce and how men cope, how women cope, it is about that feeling of failure when you've left a marriage, I think. That's what I've heard quite a lot from people I know who've been divorced. But my reasoning is that it's worse to be in a toxic relationship because if you have children, they will feel that. They get that toxicity. But life is just too short. We've got to make the best of what we have. And I know for some people it's hard to leave a relationship, maybe a marriage, maybe for economic reasons, family, whatever. But I think if you can leave an unhappy marriage, then you owe it to yourself to do so, whether you're a man or a woman. And for me, that, you know, that's my take on it. But it is that feeling of, have I failed at this relationship? I think actually to leave a toxic relationship is success. That's what I see.
Let's talk about, you find what's happening, I can only speak for what's happening in Kenya.
Sure.
Where you find now it's become normal, infidelity has been normalized. You know, a man will easily, you no longer even hide it from your wife. There's that respect is not there in the home anymore. What? I've gone to lose his house. It's like, so what will you do? You know? So it's become normalized and the divorce can't happen or separation can't happen for whatever reason, like you said, social, family, economic, etc. So can marital love especially be shared?
Open relationships, you mean?
Not
Or
even
what?
open relationships, because I've always asked myself, like, why is this man still in this relationship and you found happiness elsewhere? Or why? Man, why?
Yeah. And let me jump in and
Okay.
say it happens both ways. And I have
Well, just define the other way.
women who get another man and they also say, you know what, I have this guy on the side. So it's
Yes.
yeah, because we
Oh,
tend to only look at it on one side.
Male
And now
perspective.
it's very common.
Thank you for rescuing
It's
me.
very common, and I have friends who are doing it, and they
Where
have
she
no
had put
apologies.
me was
Yeah.
was
So
that
as you answer, put it.
But let me ask you, the ones I have heard, and it could be wrong, it could be biased, it's
Yeah.
true, it's good you have examples from friends, you know. Women mostly say it's the man making me do it because he's doing it. Is it true?
No, I think,
Statistically,
yeah.
let's just be honest. Statistically, without being biased, statistically, men have a higher chance of being unfaithful than women. That's statistically. Yes, there are, in my practice, I've met very many women who have gone out of their marriages, and also, of course, I've met very many men as well. But there's a difference on how this is also handled, and that's why maybe you have more data about men going out. Because remember that even the men whose wives have gone out have a problem struck about it. A man might never say his wife went. Because to a man, when his wife cheats on him, he has lost. It's not a heartbreak issue, it's a loss issue. He's no longer winning, he's number two. And that idea of him telling his friends that my wife cheated, it's like him yielding and saying that another man is better than me. So he'd rather not say. He'd just say, we had differences and move on. That's why maybe we have more data of men going out of their marriages than women. Because women would just say, yeah, she'd just be praying in church and just bring it out.
She'll even
You
do
know,
for that
yeah,
person.
somehow it will come out. But men will kind of find a way to kind of live with their dignity intact, depending also on the kind of man that he is. Of course, I've seen men who have come with their wives, and because also statistically it's easier for women to forgive their husbands for an affair than it is for men to forgive their wives. Yeah.
So is that love?
What, forgiveness?
No, no,
Oh,
that whole,
See, I'm quite black and white with this. If you are in a relationship and it's a committed relationship, and it doesn't have to be marriage, because often you're more committed to each other. You could be committed. I was with Jeremy for 17 and a half years before I married him. And we were committed in all ways. And I would never have thought to cheat on him because I had seen what his ex-wife had done. She cheated on him. So and he told me about the pain and the betrayal that he'd gone through. So I would never, it just wasn't in our DNA. When he passed away and I did start online dating, I was then very clear. I am not looking for marriage or soulmates, a person to have children with. I was really not having. I was looking for open relationships, and I was very clear about that. Now it's quite taboo to talk about it. I know, especially in the Asian society. But hey, I'm talking about it because it's the reality. Let's just be. I'm a woman. It's my body. I'll do what I want. It's my
so
life.
is it love or not?
It's not love.
Okay.
It is open relationships. It's very much about, it's the physical relationship. It's about not being lonely. It's companionship. It's fun. It's laughter. And then when it's not any of those things anymore, it's goodbye.
It's next.
Yeah.
Next.
But it is that open relationship. But you've got, for me, it was very black and white. If I
Okay.
am going to be committed, and I'm not saying I won't be in the future. If I find the right guy and I
Yeah.
want to be committed to him, I'll go for it.
Lay hands on her as we take a break and come back to. As we take a break and come back, you must physically lay hands on. Yeah, but we'll pick up on that thought. We take a short break. I know you don't want us to, but we have to pace the bills. We'll be back.